Boom guys, listen, we're back. And today we're talking about rep ranges, okay? Rep ranges, how much reps are you doing per set, essentially. And I want to start off with how I got to making this video in the first place. I have a client, his name is Logan. And he told me about his progress and stuff like that. And he told me that a day or two ago, he was training with another guy, a bodybuilder. And he was explaining the session like, this was crazy, this was so good, because every set we went to failure. And I'm like, yeah, that's how it's supposed to be. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, let me explain. So when I first started in the gym, I did what everyone else was doing, right? You walk, because you have your program, right? And it says, hey, you should do this many reps and this many reps, right? You pick up the weight, you lift it this many times, you put it down. But it's not that simple when you really want to build muscle, because we're talking about muscle building in this video, okay? This point that I'm about to make that a lot of people will probably challenge me on, but the people who actually know about it, they probably won't challenge me on this. People who go through with this process and the way of training like this, they know the results that this carries with it. So this is for building muscle. Let's just get that out of the way. When it comes to strength, when it comes to endurance, we're talking muscle. Pure horse meat, all right? So, essentially, when I started training, right, I was doing this, and I was picking the weight up for this many times, and I remember one time, I was doing lateral raises with my training partner who completely shifted my way of training. And we're doing lateral raises, right? And I'm picking up the weights, like, how many should we do? How many should we do? I'm asking the guy, right? And he's like, yeah, just go to failure, just go to failure, or somewhere along that line. And I'm picking up the weights, I'm like doing like this amount of weight, or I think it said like do 12 or something. But anyways, I remember that was kind of the moment, and it's very interesting because I remember it very clearly, in a sense, that I picked up a weight, and the feedback I got from him, like, dude, you just have to go to failure. You have to go you can't just do 12 reps and then put them down, you have to go to failure. And so you should up the weight, right? And that's the key to all this, okay? And what we'll get into here, rep ranges are merely a reference point for where failure should occur, all right? I'll say that again. Rep ranges are merely an indicator of where failure should occur. Okay, so you have rep ranges, right? And we'll get into the detail. But when you're sitting there and you're looking at, hey, Nico, because you're training with me, right? You're seeing what I've laid out for you. You're seeing the reps that I put you on, right? You're not just picking up the weight that many times. God damn these flies, my God. And then putting the weight down. In between there, whether that is 4 to 6 reps, or that is 8 to 12, or that is 100 to 200, somewhere along those lines, failure should occur. Now, there's different form of failure. Let's just cover that real quick, okay? Failure can be measured in whatever sense you want it to. When it comes to high-level athletic performance, we can look at data. So let's say for a runner, right? They have this and this much lactate buildup. Not lactic acid, it's not the same. This and this much lactate buildup because runners and stuff like that, they measure this between every lap, for example. That's something you could do. And for example, one way of failure for them could be, for example, that, okay, this level is at this level now, so we're going to step it down, or we're going to quit the session. We're going to we're going to run until we hit this point, then we're going to quit the session. And they might not even be fatigued, they might not even have any form failure, which we're going to get into, but that might be the reference point for what is failure for them, for that session, right? So that's one type of failure. Performance failure, we can call it, I guess. Then we have form failure, which essentially is I'm doing bicep curls, right? This is a good example. And this is bicep curls, once I start doing that, get a bit of cheating in there, that's form failure, okay? If that's the way we want to fail, form failure, hey, that's a way we can do it. We can implement that into the training, and we can adjust the training based upon that. Form failure is something I use a lot when I come to coach running people, when I coach people on running, because, and I can get into this, more in depth. If you guys want to hear more about this in the comments, just let me know. Any questions? But essentially, I use this a lot for running because you don't want to run with bad form, because it creates a lot more stress, unnecessary stress, in order to that actually doesn't help us that much in the pursuit of our goals, which is the running itself, the cardio, the skill. Right? For skill development, form failure is very common to put as a boundary for, okay, hey, we reached this now. Let's just cool down and we're done. Now, the magical thing guys. And this is where true transformative experiences happens with this, but only if you do it properly. Muscular failure, okay? And we're talking like complete muscular failure. Like, what is muscular failure? Okay, this is when, you've gone past the form failure of like, this is clean, and this is like, a bit of cheating, that's like form failure. Now we're going to the point of we can't even do this, we can't even lift the arm, right? The muscle has failed, all right? This muscle is used up. No more energy, no more, power to lift the weight up. Muscular failure. And a lot of people, they think like, oh, they're muscular failure. I think they think of it very lightly, but it's not, okay? It's not. I swear to God, every single person that I've talked to that has like very, very good muscle on their body that knows of this, they're huge, and they're like, yeah, this is how you train, of course. And it's all, they have like this do or death mentality when it comes to every single set, when it comes to every single rep. And it's such a differentiator, and it was such a differentiator for me when I started training, with the fact that, 2 seconds. It was such a differentiator for me when I started training, because once I learned like this principle of, hey, like this is just a representation of where failures would occur, and we need to like push to the next level, which I learned from my training partner, everything changed. Every single thing changed. And it wasn't anymore about the reps, it was about the effort, right? And that's what's so important about this. And we're going to get back to that point in a second. But what does this look like when it comes to like structured training? When it comes to like, okay, what should I do? Nico, you're setting on a list, right? How do I implement this? Okay, I want you to take a look at think more effort side, and I want you to look at old school bodybuilders, okay? Everyone likes to look at these science guys. God damn these guys. Science guys on Instagram with their, glass Tupperware, and they have these mid physiques, right? They don't look like beefcakes like this. Look at this. You see this? Are you seeing this? You know how few people look like this naturally? Absolutely nuts, all right? And so can you, and I'm going to tell you how to do it, okay? Look at the old school bodybuilders. Look how they push their bodies. Look at Arnold doing squats. Look at his training partner when he's doing squats. And they don't have the best squats. They don't have the best form. They don't have the best Tupperware. They don't have the best, steak on a cutting board. But it's just effort. And when it comes to like the rep ranges and stuff, a lot of that was just thrown out the window. Not completely. But the reason why is that for muscle growth to happen, for hypertrophy, the 8 to 12 rep range and 8 to 15 rep range, as the book says you have to do, like in between there, it's not actually as, it's not actually true. Muscle development can occur at basically any rep range, right? It's not just rep range alone. It's not the deciding factor if you're going to build muscle or not. There's a lot of different factors, right? You have these things called variable factors. And when it comes to like muscle growth, anything from 8 to 30, which is just a representation of the weight or the intensity at this point, right? It will build your muscle in some sense. Not all the time. There are ways you can get stronger without building muscle. For sure there are. Olympic powerlifters use that. Now, but we're talking about muscular growth here, right? And so I want you guys to get rid of this term of, hey, I have to hit my rep ranges, and hey, I have to stay within this. So the first thing you do with this, right? You go in there and you're supposed to do like 12 reps. You get to the 12th rep, right? On the first set. Now you have 2 options, okay? You're on the 12th rep. It doesn't feel that difficult, right? What do you do? Okay, this is what you do. You have 2 options. Either you put the weight down, you don't count the set, you rest for just a little time, not too much time, you don't need that much rest. Then you pick up another weight and you try again, and you try and find your new rep range. And you kind of have to guess like if that's where you're going to hit your like new failure. But you have to go to failure. What you can also do, this is the second option, is you can keep going after the 12th rep. And if that number ends up being like 35, 45, you can do that in crazy reps. Maybe not that high. Maybe like if you feel like you can do, I get a few more here, right? Go do that, right? You don't have to stop at 12. Why stop at 12, right? Why stop at all? Because this is what builds muscle. If you are only giving 80%, then you are not building muscle at all. Okay, that's probably someone gonna find a way to draw that way out of context. But like, if you're not getting close to muscular failure, like at all, then you're not in there to build muscle. You're not in there to build muscle. I don't know what you're in there for. You might have like this excuse, or it's like, I want to do this or I want to do that. If you want to build muscle, you have to go to muscular failure. It's very simple. And this is the way you do it. If you go in there and you want to do a certain rep range, right? Which is fine. Rep ranges have their purpose. I'm not saying you should just go in there and do 100 reppers of like, bah, 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 right? There's more effective ways of doing it, which is less time consuming, which is something I preach a lot about when I talk to, especially entrepreneurs in the online space, of how to get as much work done in the least amount of time. Which is basically a lot what I teach. If you guys are more interested in that, I'll have a link ready in the description very soon. If not, you can DM me the word superhero on Instagram to learn more about how I can help you. But so rep ranges have their place, right? Don't get me wrong, but you have to push to that next level. And like I said, I want to go back to this point. Old school bodybuilders. This is something that was put into my mind at a very young age from when I started training. But by my mentor then, was looking at the old school bodybuilders, like the footage, and listening their mindset of what is actually a complete, some would say, useless sport, right? A beauty pageant. Someone would call it a beauty pageant, and a lot of people, you can even think of this. They spend a lot of the money more on PEDs and drugs and the training and everything that goes into it than the actual prize money. So they're actually competing for less than zero. And they're still putting in a lot more work than most people would. And so the mentality that they have is something that I've taken to heart, and not just put that into muscle building and bodybuilding and going hard in the gym, but it's something that I put into my running, everything when it comes to life, all the stuff, building business, building everything, all these small details, everything starts in the gym. And it's done through this mentality that we're not going to quit on a rep. We're not going to quit on a set. Because if we quit on a rep and a set, we're going to quit ourselves in life. And we don't want that, right? And so we can think of it this in another way. If you don't want to do this, if you don't want to go to failure, then let me give you this word of advice, okay? Every single repetition, every single set that you do, that is an opportunity for you to become the person that you want to be. Every single repetition, through that hardship or a hard lesson, if you will, you have an opportunity. And you can either choose to let that opportunity go by putting the weights down in your rep range, or we can push further. We can push further and actually see what's beyond there. And it might not seem like the smart thing all the time. It might not seem like the thing that is most optimal according to this book or this book. But you know what it's more optimal for? Building this and building this, right? Because if you have the courage to go to failure on every single rep, every single set, you will develop it to be able to go to failure for anything in life. That's what's so powerful about this. That's what I've learned. That's what anyone who just what I teach, who I've been taught this, right? And I teach to people too now. It's you get a different view of everything in life through this. And it starts small like that, every single rep. What I will tell you guys, okay. So I posted about this in which video was this? One of my raw workout videos. I don't know if you guys can hear this construction, but anyways, I posted about this in my raw workout videos. I have 2 of them here on the video. Just workout with me, be in the gym with me, just raw footage, me talking, giving you some training advice. I'll put an annotation for one of them here at least. And you want to put on the old school bodybuilding motivation stuff, okay? And I'm going to shout out now, because I don't do shout outs that often. But Nicandro Vision Motivation, okay? The stuff that this guy's produced in the past, just absolutely top line when it comes to, I'll put it, it's not just motivation, it's actually delivering the mindset frameworks of these people, of these bodybuilders, in such a way, in such a compelling way, that it's very easily absorbed. I will actually frame it in that way instead of just pure motivation, because pure motivation is what it is, right? This is a way that this guy has figured out in some way how to make that information, the way that what they think in their mind, compelling and interesting for us to use, that we can actually go out there and push further in life and for every rep, right? Nicandro Mission Motivation, Machiavelli Motivation. I mean, these guys, they have made video, Fancy Motivation. I'll actually do this. I'll check if I can put links in the description. These are my favorite videos. Go download them, okay? Get the YouTube file, get the MP3 file for this stuff. Download this and listen to it on repeat when you're in the gym. You need to listen to this stuff. Not pop, not Cardi B, no nothing. Everything we put in here is an impression, and you need to make sure that impression is something that moves us towards our goals, not Cardi B, all right? So listen to that instead. That's big advice. That's how I got started with it. I was like, what are you listening to, man? I was asking my mentor, because when I started training, I was asking him, my mentor, hey, what are you listening to? And he was like, I'm listening to this, and he shows me like bodybuilding motivation, hardcore bodybuilding motivation. It's like, wait, what is this? And I borrowed his headset. It was like, that's interesting. And then I got some of the songs or the videos downloaded myself, and I started listening to it. And it's like, it completely changed the way I trained, the way I saw training. Every set going to failure, and it's just been such a difference. Made such a difference, and I will say it's the biggest reason why I was able to differentiate myself from a lot of people. Because there was a lot of people bigger than me, a lot of people who were way further ahead of me. Like this muscle, I wasn't like this at all. I was super skinny, right? And one of the big reasons I was able to like outwork them long run, stay consistent with it, is because of this mindset. The mindset, just like the details and everything like that. And a lot of people like to say like, hey, Nico, you're from the military. You probably learned this in the military. No, I had this mindset before I was in the military. You can ask any one of the people I served with there about the work I did when it came to training and when it came to everything like that. Of course, I wasn't perfect when it comes to learning the military stuff. But for training especially, this mindset did a lot for me, and it helped me like improve a lot when it comes to like the military stuff. And then I took the military stuff and I improved, at life. And so, I mean, it starts just small like this, but it's such a big difference. And this video is getting long, but I don't really care because this is such a good point, right? There's so many studies to back down, what is this called? To back this information up. Muscular failure being like the thing, and like that's, you studied very well. If you're the study guy, I'm not the study guy usually. You know what the biggest study? Like, I don't usually go for studies, these biohackers with their, steak on a cutting board. The biggest study I have is I look in a mirror and I'm like, yeah, that's the answer, because I look insanely good, right? Ladies love it, and like it's just some solid proof, right? That's why you're probably here, right, watching this video. You don't always need this optimization and all this stuff, right? Don't always need this data analysis for all these things. Sometimes all you need to do is look in the mirror and see where you were at and where you are now, and you'll probably find some pretty good proof in there for your methods. Boom. But anyways, I thought that was pretty cool. But anyways, like, I would if you guys want to learn more about like training in general, okay? Dr. Andy Galpin has so much great value. He's been on Andrew Huberman's podcast a lot of times. Like he talks a lot about this, like muscular failure and like build up of different stuff, like the data behind it, like metabolic stress and all this stuff. If you guys want to learn more about that, go check out his stuff. He has his own podcast now called Perform. But I would also urge you guys to check out the stuff we did with Andrew Huberman, both for the regular episodes, but also for the Huberman Lab guest series with Dr. Andy Galpin, where it's basically 8 episodes, I believe, of just Andy Galpin talking about all this stuff. Great stuff to learn more about. But it's such a big difference, guys. I can't stress this enough. Every single set has to be, it's do or die. When we were training, when I was young, we were training. When it was leg day, I did 3-hour leg days. I mean, it wasn't shenanigans. It was boom, on the spot, right? And it's not optimal at all in terms of what people would say, like in terms of volume and this and that, and data science, right? We were doing leg presses to failure. Then we would drop set it, right? 2 times. So 2 drop sets, boom, boom. Then we go straight to the leg extensions, and we would drop set it twice. Then we would take a short break, and we would do it again. Full failure, no remorse, and like full hoodie on, sweaty. It's painful. It's like super painful. And don't just go in the gym and be like this. Okay? You need to make a face. It should be like, you see how funny I look now? Like if you're not making that face, you're not training. It's very simple. You need to do that. So when you're doing the leg extensions, right, it should be like, okay, I'm exaggerating a bit. No, honestly, I'm not. Right, this stuff, like, it should just occur naturally, and it should be like super painful, because we're not just building muscle here, right? You guys know this. This is what I say. We're not just building muscle here. We're building more than that. We're building character, and we're building a mindset, and that is done through painful reps like this. okay? And like I said, I want to say this again. This is about muscle building, okay? Don't come in the comments and be like, oh, what about strength? Oh, you need to do heavy. Oh, yes, it's a completely different thing. I know. But anyways, if you guys have any comment on this, any questions, anything, shoot a comment down below. Let me know what you thought. Also, hit me a follow on IG, okay? We're in Dubai right now. We're going to be doing some training. We got a marathon coming up in a few days, which we're going to fly out to Oman and do. It's great, okay? Dubai is such an amazing place. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed that. Take care. And God bless. Boom!